week 3 of this vlog series, walking through NorthLight Residence and the perspective of a real estate developer. As usual, we're going to cover the 4 main departments and main topics that we discuss each and every week. The first being marketing, the second being sales, the third being finance and accounting, and the fourth being construction. So this week was a really interesting week. We're really starting to get into the meat of what we need to accomplish for this project, especially from the construction side. The sales and marketing are really progressing as well, and obviously finance and accounting all ties into all the departments. So it's been a very interesting week, and this was a big week for us here at NorthLight Residence. So starting with marketing, I was very excited for this week because it was the first week we were really getting into the actual ad campaigns and getting leads and things like that and getting things going. And there was ups and downs. There was definitely ups and downs. So we started working with a particular ad agency to implement the actual campaigns, and unfortunately we had to get out of that contract and move past that particular agency because of some issues we're having with ad accounts within our social media platforms. It's really crazy. It's super frustrating, but we actually had our ad accounts banned twice in a matter of 3 days, which is incredibly frustrating. And you can't put that all on the ad agency at all. Like, it's not 100% what was going on with their work. The thing that's the most frustrating part about it, and what, you know, if you're a developer and you deal with the marketing side, you've definitely seen this before, is that these social media platforms, they'll make decisions about your advertisements and the way you're advertising without giving you clarity on why they made a decision to either ban you, deactivate your ad, or whatever they decide to do. And it's extremely frustrating because they have, 1,000 policies plus, and they give you a broad statement that says you did not follow the policies that we have in place. So it's a big guessing game. You don't really know what you did wrong. You reach out to them and the feedback is beyond minimal. Even when you explain that you want to spend quite a bit of money on their platform. So the ad agency we're working with, they didn't do anything wrong, but I needed to pivot very quickly to make sure we didn't have an issue and could get our advertisements going as fast as possible, because we obviously want to sell the project and get into our sales cycles. So I was able to move to a new ad agency, which is local here in Romania. They're able to get everything up and running within 24 hours from our mistake and from the issue that we ran into, which I was extremely happy with, and they did a really, really good job from that perspective. The ads themselves, so the way it works and the way it kind of ends up going is you start with a lot of different ad sets, a lot of different ad copies, a lot of different ad creatives, and you try to figure out which ones will work the best. So the ad cost at the beginning is more expensive than it will be in, let's say, week 3 or week 4 of running your campaigns, or obviously into a couple months down the line of running your marketing campaigns. So we were getting a lot of leads. We were getting a lot of inbound leads, which was good. We were able to start filling our sales brokers' pipelines and their schedules, but the lead costs were more expensive than I really was expecting. But we were able to start, but now that we've been able to start collecting data and start collecting leads, we're going to be able to start optimizing moving forward and making sure that we lower our lead costs. And we've already started to do that within the first week. So it's a pas coup pas, step-by-step process. I'm not particularly worried about it. I think it's something that, you know, will be fine and we'll get to where we need to go. But it is step by step, and at least we're bringing in a lot of leads right now, which is positive. So that's some of the initial stuff we had there going on the marketing campaigns themselves. And I'm extremely very excited about these campaigns. We're able to implement our ad creatives using the interior renders that we received last week, which looked amazing. And this week, we're actually going to receive more marketing material, which I'll touch on in a minute or two here. What we're doing right now for our marketing strategy is we want to have as much omnipresence as possible. So we're active on 4 major social media platforms alongside several real estate platforms. So we're active on Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. For Facebook and Instagram, that's where we have the most daily interaction with the people that interact with our pages and want to follow our projects. So we post daily on there. We post stories daily, and we try to keep active content so that people can understand what's going on at the project and can see that things are progressing in a positive way. From the LinkedIn side, we post there twice a week. We do a midweek post that just is a general update about the project, which is really good. And then we also post this vlog itself on LinkedIn there. And the thing that I like about LinkedIn is that the algorithm allows you to reach quite a few people for basically free, as long as you're able to push engagement on the post itself. So we've been able to reach, you know, a couple thousand people without putting any money into it through these posts. So it's a positive platform from that perspective, and it's a good ROI in terms of people reaching out and asking about the project and getting word of mouth out there in an effective way. And then from the YouTube perspective, we just post once a week, which is this vlog post itself. And the thing is, with YouTube, it's hard to have like a daily following. Obviously you can get subscribers and things like that and grow it in that way. But for us, we don't see the biggest ROI in doing that. We prefer to just provide weekly updates, potentially more videos as we go along throughout the project itself as well. But it's not the platform that we're the most active on in any way. So that's kind of what we're doing on the social media side. And then from the real estate side, we're on immobiliare.ro, which is the biggest real estate sales site in the country. And then we're also on a few other ones as well, which are very popular as well. So that's kind of what we're doing to be omnipresent and be as active as possible. The next thing that I'm super excited about is that we did receive the first version of our 3D tour and our exterior renders. And I'm not gonna lie, I literally, I almost cried. I actually almost cried because I took a little bit of a risk with working with this particular company to get this work done, because they're above average price for the Romanian market. But I really thought that the value of the content itself is important for the marketing campaigns. So I spent probably about 20%, maybe 25% above what the Romanian norm is for these materials. And the ROI I'm getting for that 25%, no, it was incredible investment. So I'm beyond words in terms of how excited I am about this. I received the final exterior renders today, actually, which is really good. And next week on Monday, I'm receiving the final 3D tour completely finished. So I'm really excited to see how the marketing campaigns develop based off this new content and the new things we're going to do there. We're also, now that we have some of this data and some of this content, we're just going to be starting to focus on retargeting. next week, which is good. So we'll have, the second stage in the marketing campaign and the process and the strategy of the marketing. So I'm excited to get that going within all our marketing campaigns. And then we're also working on some final marketing materials such as physical brochures, which we'll have finished next week. Digital brochures, which we actually already finished this week, which are really, really good. The guy that I hired, Silvio, incredible, really good hire, really smart guy. Very happy, very pleased with the work so far. And then next week we're moving into the 1-minute video that we'll have as well for marketing material, which is exciting. So I'm excited to get that going. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the sales. So as it connects with marketing, the sales started this week. We started having a few showings. We're having a pretty good conversion of moving opportunities towards the offer and proposal stage. We already have double-digit proposals out there, which is quite good, I think, for the first week. Especially because it's a good project. It's a relatively large project, 110 apartments, but it's not a massive project where there's going to be thousands of apartments and things like that. So the marketing budget that we use is quite a bit smaller than you would implement, obviously, for something like that. So to have double-digit proposals out there in the first week, I'm satisfied at this point. Now that we're moving into September, we're into the quota stage of things in terms of delivering actual reservations, PSPAs, signings, things like that. So we got to start progressing those, and there's a huge emphasis obviously for that within the external brokerage and the internal team that we have. So everyone's on board, everyone's on the same page, and everything's progressing there. So that's a good progress there. The other thing that we did is that we determined all the materials that we need to help the salespeople be successful in selling the project. So we developed, the digital brochure that I talked about. The physical brochure will be developed next week. We developed some of the different presentations that they can actually provide in terms of the offers. So they have a lot of materials right now, which is really positive, and they're going to get more materials through the 3D tour and some of these renders that they can send out to clients as well, just to educate them about the project. So we have a lot of material, and I think we're putting our salespeople in a good position to be successful at this point. Obviously, it's pas que pas, everything's pas que pas, step by step, but we're in a good position today. I think we have a good start so far today. The biggest thing that with the sales side of things, and this is purely the developer perspective. So the biggest thing from the sales side for the developer is that you have a schedule and a plan for what you want to bring in every month throughout the project, obviously to help finance the project, to lower the need for expensive capital and things like that. But the thing that always happens, and it's universal in every single real estate project, is there always is a little bit of I don't want to say a game, but there is an interesting relationship between the developer and the real estate brokerage. The real estate brokerage that you work with will always try to either lower the price because it makes it easier to sell, or change materials that you use in the apartments, or ask for certain marketing materials that necessarily weren't in the budget, XYZ. And it makes sense because they want to make it easier to sell the project and do their job. But as a developer, what I have to do is I have to take in what they're saying. I have to understand their needs, and I need to I have to prioritize and validate what I think is real and what I think isn't real. So there hasn't been anything crazy in terms of this project itself, but there has been small instances of just discussions about what needs to be done to help the salespeople be successful, and the price side of things. Obviously always trying to push that a little bit. They have not been aggressive at all in doing that, so I'm happy because I've worked with other brokerages that are aggressive, aggressive, and then, you know, it doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth when you actually deliver at the higher prices for the sales. So they've done a good job in not over dramatizing it, but you know, as a developer, it's just something that you have to be aware of, and you have to understand that this is the way the system works. This is how the relationships work pretty much universally, and it's fine because that's their job and this is my job. So it's just understanding the needs, making decisions, prioritizing the needs, and validating whether the needs are real or not. So that's something that is very important to understand as a developer going into it, that you'll need to do. Moving into the finance and accounting department. So this is going to be the shortest part of this vlog for sure. The system is working really well. I'm able to understand our weekly spend. I'm able to understand our total spend. I'm able to understand our spend versus the budget, which is very, very positive. And fortunately, I have a phenomenal project manager and amazing, amazing team here that's helping me with some of these vendors, and we're doing very well versus our budget for several of the line items we have. So I'm extremely happy with that. And yeah, things have been going really well from the finance and accounting system side of things. So it's been good. Now the biggest thing in terms of the sorry, the developer perspective is, as I talked about last week, prioritizing, you know, whether you should spend extra money versus your budget on certain line items to bring ROI to the project and value to the project. But now it's also prioritizing the actual invoices as well and the payment of these invoices. So that's something that you're going to have to deal with as a developer, something that you have to be aware of for your cash flow and things like that. And it's part of your responsibilities. It's part of a big part of your decision-making responsibilities. And fortunately for us, everything's been going really well so far, and we're doing a good job with cash flow and managing all these decisions. So we're off to a good start. It's early on in the project, but we're off to a really good start there. Now getting into the meat of this, the construction. So we were able to finally get the elevator guys to start working on the project, which I'm super happy about. Obviously, from the sales side, it's going to be a lot easier to sell whenever you can go up to the top floor using an elevator rather than walking up 4 flights of stairs. So getting the elevators installed and functional is key at this point. And right now we're going to have 3 out of 5 blocks finished very, very soon. I'm hoping next week. So that's very exciting. That was very good. The thing that was the most exciting so far is the pool started. So the pool guys started. Everything will be done in the next few weeks for the interior of the pool and the structure itself. And I'm hoping next week to start the surrounding area of the pool as well, so that we can finish the pool towards the end of September, early October, and get that done. Because it's a vital part of this. It's a vital part of every project, the amenities, but for this project specifically, because it is more of a resort vibe sort of project, and amenity focus with, you know, the pool, with some of the different things we're providing for concierge services and things like that, and then obviously access to the lake itself. It's important. It's kind of like the centerpiece of the project. So getting that finished and having that done is important, and I'm happy we got that started. In terms of the apartment finishing, I'm extremely pleased with the supplier we're using now. They're doing a really good job from the quality perspective. I'm consistently walking through the project, checking what they're doing, making sure that they're delivering at a high value product, especially for what we're paying. So I'm really pleased from the quality perspective. They're doing a really good job there. Now, what I have to monitor more is maintaining the speed and the tempo. I think we're still on track for our plan right now in terms of delivering that particular block, because we have plans for each particular block. So I think we're still on track, and I just need to make sure that we continue to be on track because it's it's within a few days right now, which is not a huge deal, but I do like to keep to my timelines exactly as much as I can. So delivering the first block finished with certain things done on time is very very important to me. So we'll see next week whether we can get that done because that's a big deadline, which I'll talk about in a couple seconds here. But I'm pleased. I'm really pleased. Everything's coming together really nicely. It looks really good. High quality work. They seem to care about what they're doing. So I'm enjoying working with this vendor quite a bit. We started working on the hydro installation for the exterior of the blocks, which will take about 2 weeks to complete for all the blocks. And that's obviously super important because here in Romania, insulation and protecting the block and the apartments from water damage has been a common problem throughout the entire country and throughout Bucharest especially. So getting all that stuff done to protect the blocks and make sure that our clients are happy with the quality of insulation and protection from water damage is obviously it's fundamental, like it's key. So I'm really happy we got that going and that they're doing a good job there. And it'll also avoid any potential water damage costs that we have moving forward from from rain, from issues. So I'm happy with that work. I'm happy that we got that started, and they're off to a good start. I think they'll finish, as I talked about, they'll finish that hydro installation next week, which is really, really good. The electrical work, which I touched on last week, was completed for the current block, which we renamed all the blocks and we renamed the apartments to fit the NorthLight Residence theme. So we finished all the electrical work in Block D, Ursa, one of the constellations. So I'm really happy that we're able to get that done and that we're off to a good start there. Now, in terms of next week, every week for the next 5 months is going to be important. But next week is further getting into the meat of things with the construction. So next week we're going to start finishing and repairing the roofs and terraces that we have. It's important to obviously do that and make sure that all that work's done really well. Then we're getting into window repairs, and that'll start next week. And then the next thing that we're getting into next week is the central, the boiler procurement and installation, which is important as well. The thing, I almost forgot, the thing that actually happened this week, which I was really happy about as well and is ahead of schedule, is we started to level all the green space for the project so that we can start the green space work sooner rather than later. So all the project will be leveled and all the green space will be leveled properly within the next 2 weeks after this week. So I'm excited for that. And this guy that's doing that work, he's a character, and I love this guy. He's a hardworking guy, amazing, doing a really really good job. Funny guy. So it's pleasant to have him around because he's not only delivering what he needs to deliver, but he's a fun guy to be around. So I'm really happy with his work so far, and things are going well. But that's basically it for this week. I'm excited for next week from the marketing side to see the optimization, to continue to progress the campaigns, from the sales side to continue to develop these cycles and start moving towards reservation signings, especially after getting offers out there this week. From the finance and accounting side, just continuing to do what we're doing, making sure the system's working well, and the construction side, getting more into the meat of the project. So I'm excited. It was a really productive week, and next week will be a big week as well. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I hope you're enjoying the content and learning a little bit about the perspective of a developer and a little bit about NorthLight Residence specifically as well. Have a great weekend.